Good morning, everybody. We're going to do a 15 plus 10 game, but first I want to tell you to get hold of this book, 50 plus 2 Chess Quick Wins by my mate Michael Tam. Not affiliated, or not an affiliate, but yeah, really good book, and it's got 2 or 3 of my games in there as well. So if you don't watch Michael's channel, Adventures of a Chess Noob, well worth following. It's always been a good supporter of this channel as well. So if you're looking for a Christmas present, 50 plus 2 Quick Chess Wins, just look it up on Amazon, and there you go. Give yourself a Christmas present, or somebody who likes chess. Really good book. I'll show you more in future videos. Okay, so we're going to do 15 plus 10. We've got opponent that's rated 1430, and we are going with the Réti. Let's see what we get. I feel a bit dopey this morning. All right, the Sicilian Invitation. Now, if we go with this, takes, we could get into a Smith-Morra like situation. Yeah, I think we can go with that. The opponent is from Palestine. Okay, we'll go with this Smith-Morra line, maybe. Okay, so we've now got, at the cost of 1 pawn, and it's a central pawn, we've got a development lead with 2 knights. Okay. Now comes the knight. And now at e4 we transpose into a normal Smith-Morra, which seems to make sense. Okay, now e5. Now this is not the best approach from Black, I believe, and the reason is that he's given up a lot of control over this square, I think. So can we go immediately? I'm not sure we should. I think the move is bishop c4 first, with threats against f7. Okay, so what happens if we go knight here? I'm threatening to come in with check, forcing the bishop to take, which then stops Black from being able to castle short. I'm going to develop the bishop normally. Also prevents e5 in the case of knight f6. So if knight f6 now, it just... Okay. Right, so that stops my knight from moving. So I think I can just castle here. And then carry on. So that would be hitting the bishop. I think we castle. Okay, we take back. So we're still a pawn down, but we have castled. Is queen d5 playable? Queen d5 or possibly queen b3. Got one attacker on here, it's defended once. Here, what they're going to do. See, after h6, he hasn't got knight h6 to defend the pawn. So after queen here, I think he's got to use the queen to defend against f7. We've got loads of time. So if here... So what's the point of this? It's to stop the knight or the bishop coming to g5, right? If queen here, I think he's going to have to play probably queen e7. Also, because either of these moves also puts 2 defenders on this pawn on e5. So if we go here, say queen e7. Can I hit the queen? Queen takes, then that's checkmate. Queen d5, queen e7 here pushes the pawn to defend. I can take, queen takes its mate. 5 queen here. sure what to do in that case. Maybe bishop a3 anyway prevents castling. The knight can only come to here now. Let's play queen d5 and see what happens. It's got to be one of these moves, isn't it? The threat is queen takes f7 mate. Okay, there we go. And now bishop a3. And what can he do? This pawn can't block. Can only go there. This pawn blocks. I can just take. So it's just one of the lines that you can get into from the Réti with one knight f3. Okay, that's what we thought. Two attackers on here, two defenders. There's no castling. Queen in there doesn't really add anything, does it? Can I move that queen along in any way? Actually, with the queen having moved, the king does have d8. Black is way behind in development. I've got 4 pieces out on the board and I've castled. Black only has 2 pieces out on the board. So how do we apply more pressure? This is the question. The knight can't go to there. So if queen takes king d8, queen here, king there, bishop to d6 would flush the king out this way. What is the move? There's no castling, but he's got knight here. Oh, it's a toughie. There's queen here, threatening to come in with checkmate. What happens in that case? Pawn takes, I just take. Queen here. Queen will block. And there's still 2 defenders on this pawn. Bishop d6. That adds a 3rd attacker, right? Knight can't come there. Bishop d6, knight comes to here, hitting my queen. Bishop takes, knight takes. Bishop in. It's just inviting him to come in with tempo. But can he do that anyway? Takes, takes, takes. I want to do something like f4. I just want to bring a rook over. I'm expecting knight e7 to come next. Here, knight e7, I can't take there with a queen. I have to move my queen out of the way. So, where is the pressure? Here, knight comes out. Now he can castle, which is not what we want to allow him to do. Bring my knight back and f5, f4. Pawn takes. Yeah, I don't know, I'm a bit stumped now. And I'm down to 7 minutes as well. Here, knight comes out. My queen has to defend the bishop from his queen. If I take, knight takes. Here, knight takes, hitting my queen. Don't I win my pawn back? There, knight here, bishop takes knight. Knight takes knight, I win this pawn. If I come in, knight e7, bishop takes knight, queen takes knight. I'm unsure, but I'm going to see what happens. Knight takes comes with tempo, but loses the pawn back. There we go. Okay, so we have knight takes. I win the pawn, and I still have pressure on this. He's got an isolated queen's pawn now. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, I've won my pawn back, but now I can trade queens and give him a real pawn mess. That's a right mess of pawns. Okay, now we both have an isolated pawn here, but he also has doubled isolated f-pawns and an isolated h-pawn. We both have a light squared bishop. So I think what we've done is we've got ourselves a situation here where we have a safer king and we have a preferable pawn structure for this ending. So now what we do is we target the weak pawns. So rook fd1 starts to put pressure here. If I advance e5, takes, that's good. This is my weaker pawn. Unless I want to kind of reroute this knight and maybe play f3. Knight here, could come there. If I push and push, let's activate a rook. I mean, another issue for black is that this bishop is now currently blocked in and slow. This rook is also not yet activated, so I can put pressure on both of these pawns, but they're both defended by a bishop. This pawn can just advance to b6. And just drop my bishop back. I could play c4. I feel like activating the knight or activating a rook is the right way to go. Is this rook going to want... Probably, I'm going to want to move the f-pawn. So I'm going to move the knight up. This is undefended, undefended, undefended. So it looks like he's planning b5. That's fine, I can always drop back here. That's a very typical Morra move. This targets this pawn, which can only be defended by a king move. He could then take with a knight. There, sorry, here. Knight takes, pawn takes. My pawn's then a bit vulnerable. So I think it's time to bring in the rooks. So play rook ab1. This, maybe I'll drop back to here now. I don't want to keep the pressure on f7 pawn. This defends this pawn for now. Here he might just try and creep up. But that actually hangs that pawn. Okay, I'm going to stick it on b3. We're all going to learn after the game what the correct approach is. I wouldn't be surprised if this position has been seen before. So you can see I'm just having to take things very slowly right now, but I am down to 4 minutes. Okay, it's targeting that. I think f3 is very natural looking here. That again, his knight is defending. But I should be better. I think my rook's on the wrong square there. One of my rooks on d1 might be better. Knight can come around. I'm not sure. I mean, this takes. It blocks these off 2 pawns, right? I can kind of defend my pawns, putting them like this. It shuts off these 2. There, takes. The middle of the board's opened up. He can always just slam his bishop on c6. And I don't know if I want to give up my knight. I feel like it's a strong piece now. Maybe rook across to d1. Change my mind on that rook. Okay. I don't want to trade off my good knight for his bishop. His bishop is definitely hampered by my pawns right now. But then rook bd1. He would take that with the pawn, I think, and repair his pawns. So I think we've got to activate the rook. So one of my rooks should come to this open file. The b file is technically semi-open, so why not keep a rook on there? Okay, looks to be coming after my bishop. That's okay. This loses a pawn. My bishop can always drop back to c2, which is no bad thing. Three minutes 30. Got to get a wriggle on. Okay, king's moved. There, takes, and my bishop's obstructed then. Let's bring the knight back around. This bishop is not good. It's biting on granite down here. Here. Okay, don't worry about this. There. Let's target that pawn. How does he defend? He has to put his king here, right? Knight there doesn't work. Knight there doesn't work. So if I play knight h5, he has to move his king up. But he can't, because he'd be in check. So he has to move the pawn forwards. Does he want to come in there? I don't really see the huge issue. Here, he can't defend the pawn. He has to move it. I simply take it outright. There is though pressure down this file, so I've got to be a bit careful with this bishop looking here. Okay. Interesting. So now he's looking... Oh, if I push the pawn... Ooh. Bugger. Right, do I have to lift my rook then? If I push the pawn, he just takes on here. I could play my king to here, but then rook comes in, so I think it's got to be rook d2. Right, I'm still targeting an undefended pawn, and the king cannot defend. Cock. Bugger. Bugger it. Oh, no. Right, okay, resign that one. And let's look at the review. Let's see what we should have done. Ooh. I had a brilliant move, and then blundered at the end. 62 accuracy, though. 1150 from that, and I did not play the middle game well. Okay, let's go through. This is the important thing. d4 is good. Okay, we have our Morra position, which is absolutely valid. Black is slightly better, being a pawn up. e4, good. And that's a mistake. Best move, yes. Okay. Castle's not the way to go. Just go in for the attack. We're Morra players, for goodness sake. Okay, so castles wasn't best. Okay, but now we are better, okay? That is inaccurate, and that was not the move, okay? It was queen b3. Queen b3 is still threatening this. So queen b3, he defends. Okay, well that was a long sequence. That's worth remembering. That was a good move. Would have been better there. But here, I play that, and that's brilliant. So it could be captured, but it can't. And that's inaccurate. So we are definitely better here. And I should not have done that. What should I have done? Well, that is a difficult move to explain. Yeah, the king can't castle. Now, that's a tricky one. So, yeah, if anyone can explain why that move is best, please do. Let's see the moves. So there, what else has he got here? Other than allowing the queen trade and losing this pawn. It's also saying queen f4 here. So what if queen f4? He's looking at this pawn. He's saying queen c7. And if queen takes this, we skewer the queen. Wow. Wow. Hits the queen. Wow. That's very tactical. But this was not the way to go. I saw that, and that again was a mistake. Should have taken with a king, apparently. Best move. And here we are better. There's no question. Okay, now it's saying centralize the rook rather than the knight. That's also a mistake. But we've still got an edge. I just blundered at the end. And it is actually, although I doubled his pawns here, it is white that suffered from that open file. And also the fact that this bishop's biting on granite, but then that bishop can be used tactically later on. Okay. All good. It's saying get your king off the open file. I didn't have to move my bishop then. Rook d2 here defends g2 and gets the rook onto a dark square. That's a mistake. Oh, I could have simply won a pawn. Oh my goodness, Hunty, come on. You're not even awake. Could have just won a pawn. And that's a miss. And that's just... Whoa! So what should I have done here? Rook d6. Targeting this pawn with a rook. Never even thought about that one. Okay, so he does this, and that's a miss. Still rook d6. Still targeting this pawn. Didn't even think to lift the rooks, did I? And that's just a great move. And that's a blunder, because it falls to the fork. And the pin pawn. Wow. Okay, so not a good one. Not a good one, guys. Let's chuck in another. JJ, stop it. Right, I'll try another. So I lost 10 points from that one, down to 1508. I'm going e4, e5. And are we going to get an Italian? Okay, we're going to get an Italian, and I'm giving up on the Russo. And going instead for this 2 knights. Now there's a couple of moves here. This would go into the into the Traxler counter-attack. But I think this is the normal response to the fried liver attack, or the beginnings of it anyway. So after pawn takes, we go knight a5. I have actually looked at this morning. We're playing a 1648 here. So if I can win this game, then there's 11 points back, so we're actually up a point on the day. Okay. So now knight a5 hits the bishop. Okay. Now I think bishop d7 is playable. If there, pawn takes, pawn takes. I can just also take with a knight. The bishop check line. Here, bishop takes, I take with a queen. I kind of prefer that. Right, he defends. I can now capture this pawn with a discovery on the knight. What happens? If I hit the bishop, I'm a pawn down, so I can win my pawn back. Take knight. So I'm well out of the theory here, but this fried liver attack is going to be something that I'll face a lot if I play the 2 knights. If I switch to the 2 knights. Win the pawn. But that's hanging. So what do I do? Do I develop my bishop? Or I've got queen e7, but I think developing the bishop is principled. Let's find out. I mean, my opponent's an Italian player, nearly 1650 rated, so we should probably learn something from this. Even if I lose this game, it's only 5 points, so I'm still over 1500. All right. He's got 2 attackers now on here. If I castle and he takes, I've got rook e8 pinning the pawn, which I think looks pretty good. So let's see. So the goal here is not to try and race up the ratings, of course. The goal here is to develop a new style. This pawn's still hanging. If he takes rook e8 or queen, no, queen e7 doesn't work because he just takes a piece and then we trade queens. That doesn't do it. Okay. If he pushes on, I've got the option to take with the f pawn. Could trade here, but then my knight's hanging. But again, we do have a development lead. I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces out. I've got a centralized rook and I've castled my king. Okay, that hits the queen, goodness me. Here, and he pushes. I take, pawn takes, take. That doesn't work. And he's got no queen check. That doesn't work. Or does he just take the rook? Okay, we've got equal material right now. I take, he takes rook. I take here. Take with the rook. Takes, takes. So we are losing material. Takes, he takes. Or, do I just hide the king away? He takes here, I get the queen. The pawn is still pinned. I move the king, he pushes, I take the pawn. I think that's the best option here. I think it is. He can't take the bishop because the queen falls. Orinaku from okay, now a knight takes, right? Same problem. He takes here, the queen is gone. Material is equal, so I'm up. I've lost 3 pawns, but my opponent has lost a piece. Okay. Now, obviously my first instinct is just to put the knight back on here. It hits this pawn, right? Very natural move. This doesn't worry me too much. I'd like to get my knight to safety. I'm just a bit worried that it's got no good square. So I'm thinking about b6. So it anchors my bishop on there. Can I push this? Takes, knight takes. I push this, he attacks my knight. I can take with the bishop though. Is that better than b6? Not worried about that knight really. Here, he attacks, I take with tempo on the rook. But my knight's still out of squares, but then there's no pawn that can attack it. Or just this, I'm going to bring my knight back here. It's not a great square for the knight. Okay, I'm going to try c6. God, it's all very tense. Maybe queen c7 and just threaten a cheeky check. Now this and b4 and my knight is stuck. This gets the queen out of the pin, but then takes. Can I take the pawn? This is my worry. Is it b5? I've just got b6 though. b6 hits the bishop, drop back, pushes again. Drops back again. Here, I just get b4 and my knight is trapped. So I'm going to push b6. We are living and we are learning and we are getting stronger. Okay, now my knight has a runaway. I also have c5 if I want it. Queen c7 threatens this. He can just play g3. He gets out the pin. If he uses that tempo to do that, but I haven't really got anywhere good to put my knight. I could just move my rook over. I am worried about this advanced pawn here. I could just drop my bishop back there. Can't really push. I takes. Queen here takes. I throw in the check, king moves. I've then got to worry about the g3 trapping the bishop. I can get 3 pawns for it. Got this, rook moves. That comes back here. This pawn will be undefended though. I think I'll just take my way out of there. Okay, do I want to throw this in now? If he takes here, it's not with check. I give check, he moves. No. Here? Not worried about the pawn push. Or just do I just do this? Bishop here. Break the pin. Maybe put my queen here. It's not too bad. This rook moves. If it comes here though. I don't have that. I do have this, which is definitely an improvement for my knight. But do I want to invite his rook onto there? Here his knight might come in. I feel like this does slightly improve my position now. So if I can eradicate these pawns, I'm better. Okay, so right, what's gone on there? He's defended the pawn second time. Okay. This pushes, takes. Rook takes, queen takes. Can't really. Don't know about this because of that there. A knight here can maybe pair itself up. What if b4? Jensen, stop it. Come and lie down. You push there to stop the knight coming here. Then I can just block everything off. Is he planning on d6? If I play a6, he pushes d6. I can just take with the bishop, I think. Jensen, come here. Come here. Come and lie down. Come on, get in bed. You freak. Down to 8 minutes again. We're here to learn and improve. Yeah, I wonder if I really want to go down that Smith-Morra line with the Sicilian invitation. I mean, it does work, you know, it works perfectly well up to 2000 level. Go, in bed. In bed, in bed. Two attackers on here, two defenders. Queen here just stops the advance of his pawns. Knight here, I can take it. Ooh, knight there, and it's... Yeah, I can take. This knight will hang. I really wanted to bring my knight back there, didn't I? To a safe square. Loose pieces, boys and girls. Knight here, I take, queen takes. I take his bishop. Knight here, I take, he takes my bishop. I take his bishop, he takes my knight. That's also equal. And my hunch is that if we can remove a bunch of pieces off the board, then it'll make life harder for him to protect these. I don't know. Right, so queen is under attack. I did not anticipate that. Could drop back here. Could go here. I just drop back. He advances. Don't think that works. Here, similar issue. That does take this square away from a knight. Let's drop back. I'd just say I could take there. I just miscalculate that entirely. Yeah, if my bishop drops back, he's got e7. No, I'm far too dopey. Okay, I'm going to drop back. I'm going to allow takes. And I'm definitely worse. Okay, -2 materials. Bishop d6 is playable. But again, this is literally the first time in living memory that I've rolled out this opening. This pawn is hanging, so I'd imagine rook e1. Be sensible. So he's up a bishop. No, he's not. He's up 2 pawns. We both have 2 minor pieces. He's up 2 pawns, and they are the f and the e pawn. Now that ain't the end of the world. Get my stuff on light squares. I say he, I can't tell. She. Do apologise. Recently beat somebody from Georgia. Lost to an Indian in the 1600s. Beat another 1500, beat another 1500, beat a 1400. lost to somebody rated 1561. So, you know, she's a stronger player. Okay, this... Now, here, I win a pawn, rook here, doesn't work. Okay, just going to go for it. Here or here. Okay, let's take this. So she's given up a pawn. Okay, now the king has an escape square. I've got to get the queen the hell off that. Okay. It's not too bad. Queen here targets a pawn. So now she's only got an extra f pawn more than me. I think I might play rook f8 with discovery ideas. My queen is lined up with a king. My queen is lined up with b2. My knight is okay, her knight is okay. This doesn't work because I can take. So, you know, we're not out of the game. But, you know, in my own mind, I need to start relishing the idea of facing 1600s and 1700s and whatever. Okay, so she defends with the rook. All right, this hits the rook, but knight defends. I'm going to play this move. Thing is, I can't play my knight here or here with the discovery because queen can take on either square. Same with there and there, actually. And this is the four-square arrangement of a queen or a bishop and a knight, that the queen or the bishop guards all four of the advanced squares. I have this as a possibility, but why? I mean, literally, are we trapping that queen? Nope. Not on your Nelly. Queen b3 kind of pins the knight. Okay, so now she's just wanting to simplify. We have queen takes with check. Move. Double up on a pawn. Got to be a bit careful about this, though. So this rook... Oh, no, you don't. Both rooks are still defending f2. There we go, doubling up. I'll add a defender. I don't necessarily mind simplifying too much. I mean, she's going into an ending potentially with one extra pawn. And I have, these pawns here are split, so there and rook takes, I take on here. Lose a pawn, win a pawn with check. If she takes, I take here. King moves. If king comes back here, oh no, I can't take there because the rook will be on there. And then it's down to like 2-on-1 on the queen side, which won't be the easiest to defend. Queen takes, so just take the queen. That's losing. The Polero. Polero is a new thing. I've never seen this before. Polero variation. No, Polerio. What does not kill us makes us stronger, guys. Maybe what I should be thinking about is doubling up my rooks and just putting everything against f2. That was certainly worse. Ain't no question about that. She could even just push here, because I can't take, because that loses a rook. If here takes, I can't take on there. Here takes. I'm just trying to create any problem I can, really. You take here, I take, rook takes, forced. No, not legally forced, but practically forced. And queen has to defend that. But yeah, I mean, those aggressive pawn pushes in the middle, wow. Okay. Now what about this? Queen's doing a good job on the second rank. How come here she just pushes? No, she pushes there. I give check, rook comes back. Take this pawn. I've also got to be careful because my king's in the corner, so I can suffer an immediate back rank mate. Which is kind of what she's going for here. Now, if I push g6, she's got this, forcing the queens off. But then that does lose a pawn at the end. But she's 2 pawns up anyway. This fails. Because rook there takes his mate. So I don't think I want the queens to come off the board. How am I 2 pawns down? I don't remember. Can't take there, and I'm threatening this. But I've definitely got my work cut out being 2 pawns down, so she's got a 1 pawn advantage on the king side and on the queen side. My only hope here is some kind of repetition. So if we can get to here, there, here, she can start pushing pawns. So I'd like to go here or something like this. I'm hitting b2. So let's say b4. I don't understand. Did a 1648 just blunder her queen? There is no way that she can stop me from snatching these pawns. My goodness me. Well, I'm glad I didn't resign that one. Now we haven't won, of course. Jesus wept. Where's Mr. Scheibel? William Scheibel, you resign now. That I don't understand. Cannot. I mean, she's played so sharp. Are you trying to figure out whether there's any... There isn't any hope. There cannot be any hope. My queen can jump from side to side and is going to sweep up pawns. There's nothing to be done. The king can't even start to activate. Wow. Don't time out. Don't run the clock down. Please don't do that. That's the worst. Does that lose a pawn? Look, if you blunder like that, you resign. Both on 6 minutes now. Okay. Unlucky. That was unlucky. You were a good sport. Right, let's have a look at the review and see what we can learn from that. I am actually 1 point up on the day. And wow, I played 75 accurate. I played better, apparently. And I was doing good. But like you know, every game there's something to learn. Okay, let's go through it. All right, okay. So, that was a decent move. Wow. And if they take, we just castle. We're going to get a rook here. Wow. Wow. Okay, we'll come back to the last book move. That's decent. And that's best. No, I should have recaptured. What? What do you mean? Oh, of course. Different move order. Well, that's enough. That is enough for me to learn off that. I think I'm chest out for one morning. Just got really lucky in that second one, but here we go, onwards and upwards, guys. Well, at least onwards. Okay, well, I'm done. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.